Sadski.
Podcast with balls.
It is the podcast with balls. This is Skaters on Baseball. I'm Schmitty. I got Christian over to my right, which is your left. And we're going to do a little show tonight for you guys. Talk about spring training and also the big news that we missed out on Giant Sports Talks Fantasy League, and there's only one thing: if you can't join them, beat them, or I don't know. What are we doing, Christian? We're going to start our own fantasy league over here. So if anyone's interested, please let us know.
We're not joining them, but we're definitely beating them. How's that?
What's up, Daniel Silvera and Anthony Merkovich? How you guys doing?
Yeah, these guys are in. So yeah, what
Shard Hall's in.
Nice. It's firing up, and it sounds like only good things. I don't know if you've been listening to some of the little sound bites that KMBR's been posting up with Patrick Bailey and just assortment of folks that are sound real positive about camp, which I like.
Well, this morning Murph and Marcus are down in Scottsdale, and at 6 a.m. sharp, they got their first guest on, and it went all the way through till like 9:30. It's pretty cool, man. They got Chapman in there, Ramos was in there, JP Martinez, bunch of people, and yeah, like you said, the vibes are really. Here's the thing about the beginning of spring training. We know this, that everybody always says they're in the best shape of their life, right? That's every year. But I don't think that the vibes are noticeably what they are right now every year. I think people are psyched to be back and to be starting things up. But the camaraderie and the early arrivals of everyone and the kind of mental focus that all these guys have on the same thing, like last year we were not good at scoring runners in scoring position, and we're going to work our tail off on that and be the best defensive pitching team we can be. It seems like these guys are really tuned in to like, this is what we got to do. So they definitely have a game plan, and they seem like a well-balanced team with like a few leaders and then a ton of youth. Seems like a great chemistry from my perspective.
Absolutely. And we should point out that it might be 6 a.m. sharp here, but it's 7 a.m. sharp in Arizona because they don't go in for all this stupid daylight savings time shit, right? So those guys get to wake up an hour later. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, I'm pretty hyped. It sounds like everything's going good down there. And there's not a lot coming out, but it sounds like what guys are saying is that like they're hyped. That Patrick Bailey especially is hyped that Buster's in there. He's got a catcher manager and he's got a catcher Pobo, right? So how can you not be stoked as a catcher? And Patty Bailey's one of the best in the game. You know, anybody wants to dispute that, I don't think you can, right? So we can just get him to not bat right-handed. He's solid, man. Super solid. So.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a big year. I think that, also news break. The Cubs smoked the Doyers on the first spring training game. There was only one game today, and it was the Cubs smoking the Doyers. But yeah, Pat Bailey, he came to camp in the best shape of his life. And, he's focused on, I think a lot of these guys, they're all young too. We keep forgetting this, that like 25 to 28 is kind of like the nucleus of our team. And I think that's so cool that a guy like Harrison, he's 22, he's about 23 maybe. And it's like, yeah, he didn't have his best year last year. It was his first year, and he's got a lot of stuff ahead of him. So these guys are only going to get better. I mean, we don't have the broken down Nick Ahmed's and all these guys that we were just, oh God, it was horrible putting Band-Aids on things that were just going nowhere. I feel like this is the first year where we have like Chapman and Adamas, 6 or 7 years, Jung Hoo Lee, 6 years, and then a bunch of youth, like who's going to make it to the right field? Who's going to, Ramos looks like our left fielder. What's the pitching staff going to be? And I'll tell you what I'm hearing, a lot of pro Verlander right now. I haven't heard any negative Verlander noise except for on one channel. So I'm pretty excited about the whole thing.
Yeah, and I heard somebody was floating a rumor that he was already hurt, which is not true. So we can put that to bed. I can't remember the names now, but I think 2 or 3 guys that were with the Giants last year that no longer are ended up signing minor league deals with other teams this year. So what does that tell you about the guys we had last year? Right? That they're going on and signing minor league deals. I mean, yeah.
Is JD Davis one of them?
JD Davis may have signed a minor league deal. I'm trying to think of the other names.
I like JD right Davis now,
but I did too. I thought he was solid. I mean, it's one of those things though. It's like JD Davis, Alex Dickerson. There's been a handful of these guys that came and they were strong for the Giants, but then all of a sudden something just went sideways and they fell apart. And usually it was like 1-2 years into a deal that those guys were on. That's a bummer, right? Guys need to have longevity. So I think with all these young guys, now we're looking at the opportunity where these guys are going to get a lot more playing time and they're going to prove who they are. And if they are that guy, they're going to stick around, So potentially they could be setting this up for a good 5 to 6 year run with the guys that they've signed on the long-term deals and some of these young guys that are going to stick. So to me, that's exciting, right? And I think there's a lot of untapped potential in the Giants organization right now. That's guys are going to get their good long-term cracks at it, being starters every day. It's going to make things change, right?
Well, we got a lot of questions this year that are going to get answered. There's going to be answers at the end of this season. And that's what's cool. Is like Marco Luciano is going to have an answer by the end of this season, probably sooner. Is he a Giant? He needs to click into gear or he's out of here probably. So there's a lot of things like that. I mean, I'm hearing Landon Roop has a high chance of battling for the 5, the 5th starter. Everyone thinks Harrison's just going to walk into it or Birdsong. And then people forget that like last spring, Landon Roop was the talk of Scottsdale. Everyone was talking about how he was throwing the best stuff. So we got some firearms that are young and hungry. That's going to be exciting. And I don't know. It's baseball's here, dude. It's like what, day after tomorrow we have a game. Like, let's go.
Yeah, and under normal circumstances, I wouldn't watch the Dodgers, but I watched the first couple of innings today on MLB Network because it's baseball,
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it just long enough to see the tide turn heavily against the Dodgers. I mean, it just went to shit real fast. They were up 3-0, Chicago just came roaring back. And this is without Kyle Tucker in the lineup, right? And I mean, the Dodgers switched out, all their starting guys, like after I think Chicago ran up 8 runs or something. And then that was the end of all the Dodgers stars. And they put in all the tryout guys, right? But even still, those guys couldn't squeeze another run across. I think they got 1 run in the 8th or the 9th. That was it. But it's cool to see baseball again, man. It's been waiting a long time. And we got our first Giants game coming up on Saturday.
So, yeah, with Bochy and the boys, Tejas.
That's right.
Hey, Daniel, did you get a chance are you playing fantasy baseball this year? Are you a part of that or not? Or do you want to? We're trying to get something going, Christian and I. We got a couple guys that have kind of committed, but I think the league's going to be either 10 or 12 people. So if anybody out there is interested, please let us know. I think it could be super fun. Christian's got this stuff that he's working on too, that we were testing, that we can kind of watch a game together, or at least a few innings, and have the chat going during that. It's only going to get better once baseball's here, because speculation is over, and I'm over speculation, dude. Let's watch and report what's real. Like, I just can't wait for these guys to do better than what a lot of people think they're going to do. Because I know I'm a homer, but I have belief. I see it. I see it in Chapman. I see it in Adames. I see it in Jung-Hoo Lee. Ramos. I think Ramos is going to hit 30 plus home runs this year. I'm banking on that.
He's got the talent to do it. He's definitely got the power and the strength. To your point about, guys proving who they are and everything getting found out by the end of the year, I think by the All-Star break, we're going to have a pretty solid idea of what this team's going to be moving forward through the rest of the year into next year, barring any free agent signings that they might do in the offseason. But I think guys are going to have to put up or shut up by the All-Star break. I don't think Busters wants to screw around with this, right? And I think, they want to get the attendance back up at the yard, so they want to put the best product on the field, and they're going to be taking the top line guys into the game every single day. And that's like such a refreshing change from the platoon nonsense and, bringing up prospects for a week to 10 days and then sending them back down. I mean, I'm just tired of that. It's like you look through the 2010s and you think about those teams. It's like, those are your guys, and you knew who was going to be on the field every single day, right? You didn't have to think about it. You didn't have to look through a roster book to figure out, well, who's number 67 over there? Who is it? Right? That's for spring training. That's not for the
That's right.
season, right? So
know who number 88 is, right?
Who's 88?
That would be Bryce Eldridge.
No shit. I like it.
Yep. A lot of talk about this kid. I'm almost tired of these questions that are so like begging to just get something that we don't have yet. These guys are like, what can you tell us about Bryce Eldridge? Dude, it's day 2. They're like, these guys are like still stretching. Like, yeah, he's been in the box. He hit a couple balls, like whatever. But like, I hope that they kind of cool down on the hype on this guy. Cause I don't know, maybe he's one of those guys that it's not going to affect, but I've just seen it happen to other people. And I think we all need to just be patient with this one.
Well, I think we're both of the opinion that he needs a solid year in the farm system, at the AAA level, just to get those everyday reps and to get his first base polished up so he can really play it at a major league level and just get his hitting consistent. I mean, obviously the power's there, the swing's there, all of the mechanics are there, but you have to be able to sustain that and do that day in and day out for 162 games. And I feel like a guy who's 19 turning 20 might be a little too soon, I mean, he's got his whole career ahead of him. He's got a good 15 plus years, let's say, if he stays healthy at least. So why rush it? You got guys that can play first base this year. They're not terrible. Vladdy's a free agent next year. If it just really comes unglued and he turns out to be not it, or he gets hurt, So I think I don't think there's any real value to bringing him up pre-September, if at all. That's my take on it.
Yeah, Krister, how are you doing? I think
warmed up.
Is that in Minnesota, right?
Minnesota, yeah.
Minnesota, Krister, 16 degrees, doing good.
So, hey, maybe you should post the link to our fantasy thing in here, and then if anybody wants to go there, then they can check it out.
Yeah, I can do that. I think I gotta find it.
And what are we playing? $20? Is that what the?
Yeah, is a $20 entrance fee, guys.
That's easy.
Yeah,
that's cheaper than a Jack in the Box lunch.
That's not true. Jack in the Box is the only place where you can get. It's the best deal in all of food.
I know,
There's
but
no
fast
one
food,
can get more than 10 tacos for $5 or $10. What is it? 2 for $1. Yeah, $5 for 10 tacos. Beat that somehow.
if you eat that stuff, I haven't had
I,
Jack in the Box in probably 15 years.
it's the only one I eat.
do
I haven't eaten McDonald's in like
they
50
do they
years.
still make the super tacos or just the tacos?
Dude, that's a great question. I was just at Jack in the Box about 2 weeks ago, and I came out with my 2 tacos, and I was telling Cheryl that exact thing. Like, they used to have these things called super tacos. I don't think they have them anymore. Those were the spicy ones, a little bit bigger,
They
right?
were bigger, yeah. They were bigger. They
Yeah,
just had a little
and they
more
had
of
some
everything in them.
spice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
I don't think so.
my jam at Jack in the Box, and then we're talking circa 84, 85, was
Nachos.
the bacon Swiss cheeseburger that was like it was grilled on sourdough, and it had this like crazy like mustard sauce on it. Dude,
Oh
the
boy.
Swiss bacon burger was the shit at Jack in the Box. And what's
Okay.
funny is like I've never been a fan of like soda, like Cokes, 7 Up, any of that shit. Like I'll have a Coke about once every 3 months or something, and I like it, but I just can't drink that shit all the time. So we were
Yeah.
always going over there, and I'd get like the jumbo size iced tea at Jack in the Box. And I don't know what it was about the iced tea at Jack in the Box, but you get so wired. There was so much caffeine in it. It was great. It was great. People are like, "What? Are you drinking iced tea? Why do you drink iced tea?" I'm like, I get way more of a rush from this iced tea than you're going to get from that Coke. And then that sugar is just going to burn in your veins.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, but let me see here. I'm trying to find this. We gotta add it. So what do we got here?
This is an interesting take. I think the reason why they brought Posey up early is because who was it? Was it Benito Santiago was catching, right? Is that my memory right on that?
When they brought up I thought it was Benji Molina.
Or Benji Molina. I'm sorry, not Benito Santiago was probably earlier. So I think Benji Molina was like aging out pretty hard, and that's why they brought Buster up early like that. I don't think they would have brought him up that early if that wasn't the case. I could be wrong. I just feel like we've seen what happens to these really young prospects when the Giants try to move them up too soon. It just seems like they need to make a change with Eldridge. If he's really that talented, let him develop.
Well, it sounds like the main thing is getting him to become a decent first baseman. Apparently, like, he's not ready to play first base in the pros. So they need to work with him on that, and getting reps and learning in AAA is not a bad idea. You don't want to cost your pitcher outs or runs or anything. Like, as great of a bat as you have, you need to be able to play defense. We know that.
Yeah. Daniel, I totally agree on that point. But those guys are only here for this year. They're both gone next year. There's without a doubt. So it doesn't seem like, I don't think the Giants should be trying to make that big push this year if they can help it. They can avoid it. It's just my take on it. So yeah, I'm excited to see what goes on. I think that the depth of pitching right now, it's almost going to be a problem. Maybe they got so many guys and only so
That's
many.
a good problem.
It is a good problem, but I think like, man, if they're talking about like Roops looking like the real deal, could be part of the rotation. It's like, okay, Harrison and Birdsong are on the hot seat now. Crazy. It's crazy.
Well, someone's going to get hurt. That happens every year, injuries, and everyone's talking about Robbie Ray and Verlander, the age, and if Webb gets hurt, the whole season's ruined, all this crap. It's like, we got dudes ready to step up, and a lot of these guys have had experience. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be good. And I also think, like, don't count out a trade.
Yeah. Speaking of getting hurt, we should put this up. Let's see what happened today in the Dodgers-Cubs game.
Be careful, guys.
You've got to do that now. Oh, boy, Bobby hit in the head. Oh, my goodness. That ball goes into foul territory, but a comebacker from Bush hit Bobby Miller.
And this is just frightening.
Yeah, frightening to say the least.
And it's something that we overlook. The good thing is that Bobby Miller is up on the knee.
Gonna come out. He's standing up, and he's
So at least
up on his
it looked like he was okay after that, but 106 miles an hour to the dome. Don't need to see that, but we needed to see that.
Oh God, that's scary. That's probably the biggest fear I would have being a pitcher, is just having someone line one right back at you.
Yeah, 60 feet 6 inches. Okay, and you're talking, especially if you're like a real thrower of a pitcher, your follow through motion is putting you in a completely vulnerable position. Your head's down, your arms down, you're like. And you're that much closer to the plate by the time you finish your delivery. And these guys are smoking balls straight back up the middle. I mean, oof, ouch. You know, he's lucky he caught it on the top of the head. So probably gonna have a good bump. So curious. Pavlovich has been coming in with some weird takes, man.
Really?
I don't know what's going on. Oh yeah. Talking about Meckler is going to be a breakout guy this year. He's just talking all kinds of weird shit. I think he's just kind of like throwing these wild hairs out there to see if, throwing mud at the wall to see if it sticks, and then everybody else go, dude, you're a genius. How did you know? Somehow I think that the Meckler take is not going to stick, right?
I'll tell you this, Daniel. For me, it's Grant McCray. Friend of the show and 5-tool player that could be the best defensive outfielder we have. All this guy needs to do is get comfortable enough to be getting on base and striking out less. And he has all the other things. I mean, this is an exciting player. If he could be playing every day and I don't know, even bat like 250, 260 or something, just strike out less, get some walks, get on base, get in the pitcher's head. He could bring a whole element to the team that we've deeply been needing for years. I mean, who was our last guy? Dan Gladden that was I mean, like, it's Bill North. Like, I was thinking about this today. I was like, I mean, Slater was not that guy. Like, I don't remember having a guy that was like, oh man, like Ellie, when he gets on first, it changes the whole way the pitcher deals with the game. So, yeah. And he made some great defensive plays already last year. It's, for me, defense gets overlooked a lot. A lot of people watch baseball to see the home run. That's like their big thing. And to me, like watching Chapman play third and Jung-Hoo Lee play center, and then McCray playing center, that was some really great defense. And those are ways that you're going to pick your team up. You're going to spark the guys. They're going to come in and start producing because they're going to feed off that energy. So I would love to see Luciano put it together. I'm just a little hesitant to think that that's going to happen. He feels like even if he had it together, he feels like there's not really a slot for him. He's like the 7th outfielder. He's not going to play shortstop. Like, he's too young to DH. I just don't know what they would do. Like, if they put him in left, what are they going to do with Ramos? Like it just doesn't make sense right now.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, Grant is a really, really just a hair in second behind Matos. I think this is Matos's year.
Oh yeah.
I think Luis Matos is going to be just a vicious animal in San Francisco this year. I think that getting sent down last year after being the player of the week and all that stuff, lit a fire under that guy. And he went into the Winter League and just smoked it. So I'm expecting good things from Matos. And I really want to see McRae in there because not only is a really likable dude, but his skill set is incredible. And he's got a lot of pop when he connects. The only question with McRae is just got to get those strikeout totals down and got to get more contact hitting. If he does that, everything else is super solid. I think
Right.
well above average on defense, base running speed, all of it. I think he's a smart guy. And I love the swagger. I love the, he's pumped up. He's like, man, I could steal 40 bags. I could steal 50 bags. Like, yeah, you could. I believe it. He's lightning fast. So
I'm gonna put a link to the fantasy thing in the chat right here. Hopefully that works. I don't know. I've never put a link in before, so see if that works. If anyone's interested, click on it, and then that'll get you into the zone. Grant seems like a cool guy. As far as for Luciano, I just want him to hit so well that it forces the issue for DH. I just don't know that they want a young guy being DH. I feel like it's a waste or something. In some ways it doesn't totally make sense to me. Like if a guy's just not going to be a great defender, what does it matter the age? But it does also seem like something that you put someone at the tail of their career in. I think it's kind of weird to come out of AAA as a DH. Like I'm here to DH. Like that's gonna limit your options big time.
Well, and he hasn't proven that he could do it. I think that's one of those things where everything, all the talk. I don't know if you were here last time around, Daniel, but we talked a little bit about Luciano and this thing. Everybody, he's this power hitter. He's going to hit this many home runs and he's just going to kill it. And when he came up to the majors, I mean, he never hit a home run. He hit one off the bricks in right field. He hit one into the gap almost to the track. And that was it. And that, to me, that's not enough, right? And his defense was sloppy. So, of course, I see a young guy like that come up. He's touted. I want to see him do well, but maybe, like we talked about last time, maybe he ends up doing well somewhere else. And
yeah, could happen. I think you do need to throw Fitz in there too, though. I think if Fitz stays healthy, I know he's got a little sore back right now already, but this guy could have a huge year. I think he could bat close to 300. I think he could bat 20 to 30 home runs, and I think he could steal 30 plus bags. I think he's a kind of guy that that's who I want to see. I don't need a 50 home run guy. I'd much rather have a guy that is fast and can play defense and has more to offer than just, the Alonsos of the world. Is just like, they're cool, but I'd much rather have, the J-Rod or somebody that's just doing everything.
Yeah,
that's just me though. I don't know.
Yeah,
well, look at this. Eddie's in the house.
Nice.
What's up, dog?
Yeah. So if you go and sort of break down and analyze Fitz's swing, if you go look at some highlights of him, that guy's bat speed is out of hand, man. He gets the bat through the zone so quick, and the home runs that he hits, man, they're just it's gone the instant he makes contact. So he's an exciting dude, and with the speed, I mean, they can get him to hit a bunch of gappers if he's not, he's facing pitchers that aren't going to give him anything he can knock over the wall. He's gonna turn doubles and triples all day long, right? I mean, he's that quick. So yeah, he's another guy that's exciting, and I think we've seen enough of Brett Wisely. We've seen enough of insert name here, second baseman. We don't need him. If Fitz is healthy when the season starts, he's going to be a big deal. I think this team is highly underrated, is what I think right now. And that's not my fan prejudice, but that's just kind of going back and looking at where these guys are at, looking at some highlights of these guys, seeing what the potential is, and trying to extrapolate, like, okay, if this guy gets consistent playing time and he does this day in and day out, the Giants are going to be good, man. They're going to be good.
And that's what Chapman was saying today on KNBR. He's like, it's exactly where we want to be. I love being the underdog. Like, he's like, whatever. It's the thing that nobody's talking about, which is really interesting to me, is Encarnacion. He seems like such a wild card. Like, this guy could be like this, almost like a Marcelo Zuna type guy. Like, this guy has, like, you talk about the ball coming off the bat. This dude has ferocious hitting, and I love the way he hits to all fields. It's going to be interesting to see who gets penciled into the DH.
Yeah. Encarnacion, big dude, strong dude. And it seems by all appearances that he's a good clubhouse dude, right? See him in the dugout getting people pumped up last year. I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I like that, So, yeah, I think the DH thing is going to be, that's probably maybe the last thing we're going to find out in spring before the season actually starts. Is who's going to fill that spot, right? I mean, there's potential 4 guys that could be doing that, and then if we're talking about a first base platoon, is Flores stepping in there? Is Wade stepping in? Like, there's a lot of possibilities there. They could test drive Luciano there if he proves he can hit in spring training. Who knows?
Yeah, no, it's all gonna come down to the next 4 weeks. We're gonna see it all happen right in front of us. Apparently, Jung-Hoo Lee has already requested to play every spring training game. Like, Bob Melvin's like, whoa, dude, like, he's hungry. He's like, I want to play baseball. So it's pretty, I don't know. The vibes are good. Did you guys see anything about this ABS? I think we should talk a little bit about that, because I was on the fence, and then the more I heard about it, I fell off the fence, and I don't want any part of it. I just think that it's cool that you have this challenge system, but that's just going to lead to more and more, and pretty soon you've taken all the human element out of the whole thing. I think if there's a mistake, if there's an error or whatever, just adds to the story. Like, oh, this guy called a ball instead of a strike. I'd much rather have that than like strike, ball, strike. Like, I do not want to take away from someone like Patrick Bailey that can frame pitches and has this like defensive prowess. Like, all of a sudden the catchers are going to not be important almost defensively if this stuff happens. And I don't like the time, even if it's like not that long. It's just like we're waiting on a computer, and a lot of times it seems like the results aren't even the same that I'm seeing. Like, I've seen slow-mo instant replays that it seems like they called wrong still. Like, so I'm just like, let's just let human error be involved.
Yeah. Well, in a sort of horrendous cosmic balancing of the universe this year, we lost the worst umpire possibly in the history of baseball, Angel Hernandez.
Yeah, that's true.
And then at the end of the year, and right before the beginning of the new year, we lose the best umpire in baseball because of a gambling scandal. The most accurate umpire in all of baseball got fired, right? So the automatic ball strikes was,
Hey, if Shohei can gamble, I think he's leading the way, right? Like, people are like, if Shohei can do it, I can do it.
That's right. I think that the replay system that they already have in place for the plays at first base and the other plays, I think that's sufficient. I tended to get frustrated at times with the inaccuracy of the plate umpires and balls and strikes, and especially when you feel like your team is getting screwed, it makes it that much more like, oh yeah, we need the robot umpires, we need all this stuff. But yeah, it takes the human element out. I would rather have something that holds umpires to account, a rating system in which, I mean, they already have it to a degree where the umpires have to be accurate to a certain level to get the playoff series and the World Series, right? Like they get rewarded for their accuracy by being picked for those what do you call it? The staff for those games, right? The automatic ball strike system. I mean, it was nice to see Muncy get rung up today on one of those, but it's just an anti-Dodgers thing. I don't think it really works at the major league level. They like it in AAA, let them keep it. But yeah,
well, I heard Ron Wotus talking about it, and he mentioned something that like I never thought of, which is if there's a really bad ump behind home plate, which probably there can be in the minors, right? He's seen games where they just challenge every pitch almost, and it just becomes comical because they're challenging pitches that are wrong, so they don't lose their challenge. And he's
Right.
like, pretty soon you've just like made this umpire look ridiculous. But and then what's his name? Patrick Bailey was talking about like catchers will start doing the opposite, trying to trick you that it was a ball. Like they'll be moving the ball outside, and there'll just be all this weird gamesmanship. And it's just like, I don't know.
Over framing. Yeah.
Is this this is interesting because is this what it's all about? Is this all because of gambling? People are losing money, so they want it to be more computerized and less humanized. I've never heard this take, but this could be interesting. I could see that being part of the issue, that people are, I would have won $1 million instead of lost $1 million or whatever.
Right. The gambling thing to me is kind of upsetting. I mean, I play poker as a supplemental income, right? So like, okay, gambling, but like when MLB Network started running the odds daily on their ticker on the screen, okay, it's a mixed message. I mean, on the one hand, you're saying Pete Rose is forever banned from the game, banned from the Hall of Fame, banned from everything for gambling, but then they're promoting gambling on their flagship network, right?
It's very hypocritical.
And all the advertising for DraftKings and there's a shit ton of these online betting, online gambling, bookmaking companies paying the bills, but it's a bad mixed message. And you know what? Baseball's a kid's game. So for the kids that, aren't going to play at a high level in baseball, they start gambling on it. It's not a good look, and, the majority of the betting companies and all that, they're all based in China. So they're doing data mining on anybody who's wagering while you're losing money. So just for all you guys that are considering that, don't do it. Oh, no.
I think we got to let Ipe free. I mean, this guy's taking the heat for everybody, and it's just not fair. Send him back to Japan. Let him enjoy his life. And we all know Ohtani's guilty. So that's what I got to say about that. Well, yeah, how do we get more people involved? That was a nice comment baseball threw in there. Tell your mom, tell your dad, what was that viral thing? Tell your mom, tell your dad. You remember that? It was
because they're raping everybody out here.
Yeah, that's
hide your kids, hide your wife.
Yeah, hide your kids, hide your wife. Yeah, that's right. Hide your wife, hide your kids, but tell them to subscribe. Shohei Ohtani John, still my favorite comment ever released on our show. It's going to be a tough one to beat.
That was amazing. Yeah, Ohtani, that whole thing stinks, man. I only hope that somehow karmically it comes back to just bite him, whether it be he just doesn't.
Hey, third time's the charm, right? Get that guy another Tommy John. Let's see it. And people were like, whatever. You can say whatever you want, but these guys are getting older. Mookie Betts ain't a spring chicken. Freeman, he's still crying about leaving Atlanta, apparently. And some of these guys, man, there's no way you can't hate them. Like they were born to be hated. And so they all gravitated towards Dodger blue. But one thing I would say is they're in a lot of people's heads. I was noticing that everybody's like, the Giants aren't doing what the Dodgers are doing. And in my mind, no one's doing what the Dodgers are doing.
Right.
It's like they're the anomaly, not the Giants. The Giants are doing what everybody else besides the Dodgers are doing. So, like, let's not get it twisted.
Well, the Mets were sort of trying to do what the Dodgers are doing, and the Yankees always have done that. I think they're like the original template for that, right?
But they've backed down a little bit. They're not. Yeah. So
they have. I think what's going on is that there's a potential work stoppage next year. Scott Boras is ruining the game. Like a whole bunch of factors in this. And I think the Dodgers have just been trying to load up so they can sort of weather this coming storm that might happen. I do know this. I think that everybody is beginning to discount the Padres and start thinking that the Giants are potentially a dark horse threat in the NL West, right?
Right here. I'm saying Padres 4th place this year. I called it early.
Yeah.
I think they're going to start unloading guys like Cease and Luis Arias to get their pay down. I think the internal tension that's going on with the ownership and all that, it's going to carry over onto the field, and Tatis and Machado are going to get into a fist fight again. It's just all going to, they have great weather down there. Don't get me wrong. I love San Diego, but I think the Giants are going to pass them. I'm wondering about the Diamondbacks, to be honest. I think they added Naylor and Corbin Burns, if I'm not mistaken, and basically have the same team without Walker.
Yep. And I think I said last time, Naylor is not an upgrade over Walker. I don't see.
No, but he is good. He'll get you some home runs for sure. He's going to put balls in that swimming pool.
Yeah, he might. But I mean, you see him. He didn't even show up in the playoffs this last year. He was awful. I think he might hit one home run all through the playoffs and struck out a ton, grounded out a ton. Like either those pitchers had his number or he just isn't the guy he was 4 years ago, which is entirely possible. So,
well, and Walker was he was pretty clutch. He was kind of like a centerpiece for that team. I mean, Corbin and these young guys are gonna be, but I think Walker was kind of the guy. Him and Marte are the two centerpieces of that whole.
Mm-hmm.
Marte is so good. He's like one of the best second basemen in baseball, right? Like Altuve out in left field. Did you see also that the ESPN and MLB parted ways? There's going to be no more MLB on ESPN.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, I mean, I think that's been coming. I think that the individual team deals with their own networks and their own, like the Giants have NBC Bay Area and the Yankees have their own network and the Dodgers have Spectrum. I think what's happening is that there's so many games broadcast on those systems now. There's not a lucrative deal that league can make with ESPN, and ESPN has been kind of they're part of Disney, and Disney's been on the skids now for the last 6 to 9 months. So ESPN is definitely not, they're going to go whichever way that ship sails.
I just don't want to see 10 games in a month that are on 10 different channels for the same team. Like those Apple games where you have to subscribe for a night and then cancel your subscription. It's I don't want any of that. You
can only do it once. You can only do it one time.
No, that's not true, sir. I've done it 4 times. You just have to have a different email address.
Oh God, I'm not gonna. I've already got 3. I don't need to set.
Hey, I'm not paying $49 to watch a damn Giants game. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, you got YouTube TV, right? So you're all set up.
I
think
hope
might.
so. But what about on a Friday night when they're on Apple?
They're
or
gonna
something?
look. They're gonna be on Apple at least 2 or 3 times. They're gonna be on the Roku channel, which at least on the Roku channel, it's free. If you
I
got
don't
a
even
Roku,
know what Roku is. Like, I don't have that.
it's a little streaming stick, right, that you plug in, and you can put all these apps on it. It has an MLB app, it has Netflix, it has Amazon Prime. It's got every app that you can get like on a smart TV. But Roku has its own Roku channel and Roku TV, live TV. And so last year, I think there were 2 Giants games on the Roku channel that I watched. And unlike Apple, they weren't nearly as annoying.
Does
So
it have an app?
They didn't have, well, you got to have one of their streaming devices to do it. So,
Such is the problem. See, I don't like all these monopolizing situations. Like Comcast did that, where they're just like, you get in there and then they start raising prices, and all of a sudden you're like, just come on.
Yeah. But I will say this for the Roku one, like, Apple has all those stupid infographics that pop up, right? Where it's like, the probability of scoring 2+ runs, blah, blah, blah.
Exit velocity.
I already did the math in my head. I don't need this. And the only thing I liked about the Apple games is the 4K or 8K or whatever 12K video that it is. Like, it's almost more real than real, right? The saturation, everything, it's crazy looking. So,
I mean, the Giants, their scoreboard, they have all this unnecessary crap, like so much stuff, and like the basics are nowhere to be seen. You're like, I just want how many outs, who's up, and what's the score and what inning. Like, come on.
It's for the ADD generation,
It's
iPhone,
nuts.
raised on the iPhone kids that are like, they need like digital overstimulation to feel like they're alive or something, right?
You and me both, Robert Rothberg. Yeah, no, yeah. Well, here's the thing. There's a life where people want to relax and watch a baseball game. And if you have ADD and you're into those games and you want everything quick, like you can't even handle a reel, you need a short or like whatever, then baseball's not your world. Just stay out of go do other shit. We don't need you in there. We don't need you making a game faster so you can pay attention. Like that's not what we need. We need to perfect the game that we already have. We need to protect its history, and we need to keep the stats relevant. If you move all these things, all of a sudden these new stats have asterisks because they're different than when the guys that set the records. It gets me to this. Okay, me and my wife have this debate. I think I've brought this up before, but this is a great topic. Why aren't all stadiums exactly the same? If it's a statistic-based game, why isn't every stadium the exact same dimensions in the outfield and all that stuff? And like, was it at one time, or did it always not be the same? Because like tennis and all these other basketball, like they're all the same, right? Like, and so I get that it gives charisma, but what's the real reasoning?
The designers of the different stadiums were decades ahead of where we have gotten to now, which is so that they can have this statistic that says that would have been a home run in 27 of 30 major league ballparks.
That's what we're talking about.
Right.
That's why we bring it up. We don't need like how many other stadiums it would have been a home run in. It would have been a home run in every stadium because they're all the same. But like, I don't know.
I like it. I like that Fenway has the monster. I like that
I do too.
has the ivy in the basket. I like the Yankees have the short porch. I love the contours of Oracle. I think it's cool. And you and I both know stats in baseball. You can look at a stat line on Baseball Reference now that just bleeds off the page for a half mile with all this F WAR, D WAR, this, that, and really it all comes down to situational statistics, right? What did the guy do when guys were on base? What did the pitcher do when guys were on base? How did the defense play? I mean, it's really simple. The statistics that matter are not these crazy percentages based on how many night games, how many day games, played here, played there, played where, right? You know. And about that scoreboard thing, at Fenway, they still hang the numbers in the holes, right?
Yeah, Wrigley too, I think.
Yeah. See, I miss the old Longines clock from Candlestick, man. They just had a clock and like they had the old light bulb illuminated scoreboards, and it was cool, you know. So
Yeah, Boston is definitely very charming. I went there, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago now. Everything bleeds in time, but love Boston. Love that stadium. And I think Giants have a really cool thing too with the right field. It's not the green monster, but it is kind of like that vibe where they have a taller wall and the bricks and the angle where inside the park home runs should happen more often in Oracle, because if you hit a ball off one of those angles and the ball goes the opposite way, I've seen that happen a couple of times, but not nearly as much as you would think it would happen.
yeah, imagine if in baseball you could be such a skilled hitter that you could basically perform masse shots to put the spin on the ball so that when it hit off the bricks at Oracle near the archways, it would spin clockwise and go out into the triples alley basically, like, and totally elude the outfielders trying to play the carom. That's the thing I love about Oracle, actually, is that the right fielder, he's got to be studied in that wall, right? You see the visiting outfielders just struggle out there. I love it.
And Eddie's right too. They don't take into account the weather. Like if it's super windy and all these different things and the fog layer, like the altitude, like obviously Colorado and Arizona have the different air where the ball just flies around. Are they still using the humidor or whatever they called it? Like to change the balls so it's harder to hit home runs in places like Arizona and Colorado?
Colorado, they definitely use the humidor. They might use it in Arizona as well. I think those are the only two places, though. So,
well, guys, who wants to play fantasy baseball this year? Does anybody? Because I do, and I missed my opportunity elsewhere, so I thought I'll start this up. I got a link in our comments here, so if you want to click on that, join Skaters on Baseball's first ever. You can tell your kids you were in the first ever Skaters on Baseball Fantasy League. I remember year one, Schmitty won the whole thing and we thought he cheated, but it turned out this guy's pretty good.
So what do we got schedule wise? So the draft date is what?
I just put a random date that we can all agree on later, just because it's like I got this message saying that the Dodgers will be in Japan, I think, before that. I think there's a couple of games, like maybe I want to say like the 18th or 19th or something in Tokyo. So I didn't put that into perspective, but it's a $20 entrance fee. And yeah, if you want, I just put the link in. Let me know if that's not working. And if not, you can always email me too, and I can get you in there. Would love to have some of the regulars. Senior was saying he's going to be in. I don't think Chardal's even been on our channel. So the rumors of that they might be less than true.
Yeah, and I think that Giant Sports Talk Live limited their entries and it's already filled up. So
yeah,
if you missed out on theirs, we got plenty of openings, and I think it'd be fun. It'd just be like a little companion to our live streams, and it'd be good. And kibitzing and shit talk is totally fine. Totally done.
Oh yeah,
a little heckling, get into it.
What are you guys doing for the first game? I will be in attendance. Or are you talking about the first game, which is in Cincinnati? I won't be in attendance, but the first home opener, I'll be there. That's a good question. Cincinnati opening days never at home, so we'll be on the road. I don't know. Should we get James Kelchin or something? Get some Cincinnati love. We got our friend Curtis that's a big Reds fan.
Yeah, I'm down. Maybe we should do a little live stream during the game and bring up the game cast and kind of follow along with it a little bit. I'd be stoked on that. I wish the Giants would open at home one of these years. I don't get why they never do. When's the last time that they had an actual opening day home opener?
They intentionally don't.
And why is that?
I'm not exactly sure. I think it's so that they can have the end of the year line up the way they want it. I think you get options on like either opening or closing the year.
So they take the closing weekend so they can do the Willie Mack Award and the Education Day and all that. Okay.
I think so. I think that's what I heard, because I was like, this is crazy. It's been like 10 years in a row. Like, what the hell's going on?
I can't remember the last time they had a home opener on opening day. I mean, it's got to be early 2000s, maybe.
It might have been the first year of the stadium and then never again. Like, I'm not sure if they because I've been to every home opener at the new stadium, and I'm pretty sure most of them were not opening day.
Yeah. Where's the All-Star game this year? Do you know?
No.
Does anybody know? Ask in the chat if somebody knows where the All-Star game. I haven't even checked in on it yet.
I feel like it was Anaheim for some reason. I'm not sure though.
That's not the right stadium for that.
Obviously not.
And I like that stadium, but it's just not the right stadium for that. It needs to be an aesthetic showpiece.
Oh, ATL. I think it is in Atlanta.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, and I was looking up. So here's a couple things I was wondering about too. So the Giants hit 165 home runs as a team last year. They're obviously going to hit more than that this year, I think. Are they going to reach 200 as a team?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, look, the Giants in recent years have struggled to get individual players struggled to get even near 20, right? Like they up and down the lineup. Here's a guy who hit 3. Here's a guy who hit 7. Here's a guy who hit 11. You know, like it's just, I mean, obviously we know the game isn't based around the home run, but yeah, you need to get those home run totals up a little bit, not just for the sake of scoring runs, but for the sake of the fans, for the sake of excitement in the game. Home runs are exciting. You know, if your team hits 12 a game, it's not exciting. But if, you know, somebody's coming up, getting that clutch home run, the walk-off home run is always exciting, right? And the Giants have had a few of those, you know, walk-off grand slams seem to be their thing, right? Like it happens. So I would like to see them get up around 200 or more.
I think they're going to get 200. And I think a lot of people have been predicting 3 Giants will break 30 home runs this year, which would be incredible. You remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? They had like the guy, like he brought in the mail. Mm-hmm. Well, it was a great mail day for me when I get this card in the mail. One of my all-time favorite Giants came in today, Timmy Lincecum, and this year, this is the 2025 Lamont Wade.
Nice.
So, yeah, got a couple cards in the mail. So we might have to make a little ding, 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 and the mail comes through like, what's in the mail?
Have you started sending cards off to guys to get them signed?
No, that is so there's different levels of sickness, right? And when you just get baseball signed by your team, I think that's the beginning stages. When you're sending retired players that you don't even know who they are in the mail, hoping they'll sign and send them back, that's when you're very ill. You're very ill.
Well, okay, so how many years have you been going down there and getting autographs at the park? Has this been a long-term thing?
It started in COVID. It started in COVID. Yeah. Okay. I was taking walks around the neighborhood because you know, it was locked down and we don't have a yard, and I was like needing to be outside, and the Giants were playing with no fans, and I started seeing the players, and then I started following like, oh, they have these protocols where they have to test every time and da da da. And some of the guys were signing still, like even during COVID. And so I started carrying a baseball with me to go get coffee. And then I'd walk down there and see if I could get some autographs. Slowly, I got a few. And then I met these guys that were hanging out down there. And then it turned into a whole different thing. Pretty soon, I'm back into collecting cards and trying to get everybody's autograph and collecting rookie cards for my favorite players, trying to get sets of all the different Giant years and this and that. Yeah, I did get Logan Webb, his autograph. He signed 2 cards for me in Sacramento. He's always pretty gracious. Tyler Fitzgerald, Luciano, and who was the other guy up there? I forget, but there was a few. Oh, Ramos. Yeah, I think it was Ramos, Webb, and Tyler Fitzgerald. Those fan fests are cool. They just announced the home one is going to have JT Snow, Jeff Leonard, and Rich Aurelia, and Dravecki, and maybe one other person. So they're going to pull out the old guys for the home one.
The Hackman.
Hackman, yep, flap down, baby.
Shoo.
Yep, he doesn't like that sign either. he's a pretty grumpy guy sometimes, so it's pretty cool that they got him in there having to sign.
Well, I was just thinking, since you've only been doing it since COVID, like there's probably some dudes that have retired that I bet if you mailed out some cards and a nice little note, you get some signed cards back if you care about that shit. You know?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I did get Bert Blylev, and I think he was the first. He's a Hall of Famer, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he was my first Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So that was the only one I've done through the mail, and it came back with the HOF on it, which is pretty cool.
You got a signed Buster card?
No. And apparently he's been signing in Arizona, and it's driving me crazy because I was this close to going. My friends are down there. One of my friends got Buster 3 times this week already. And no, Buster and Lincecum, those are the 2. And obviously Barry, like I never got Barry either. Those are my 3 goals. If I get one of those 3, I'm going to have a real fun explosion.
Look at that.
Not that kind of explosion. I got a Barry Bonds signature in 87. He sent back a signed postcard. I got it authenticated 15 years ago. Crazy to think Barry signed through the mail at one point. Holy smokes. 87 was 1987. I don't think was he up even on the Pirates in 87, or was he in Arizona State?
I think he was still with the Pirates.
No, I don't think he was even in baseball yet in 87.
Look that up now.
I was a senior in high school. I think he's 2 years older than me.
Yeah, he didn't play 20 years in the majors.
I don't know. That might have been his rookie year, but I think it was 89 was his rookie year, maybe.
Crazy. Well, yeah, I'm looking
86 was his rookie year. My bad.
So he played till 2006, right?
I think he played till 2010, right as they went into the World Series. He retired.
No.
No, I know. I'm just kidding. It was
2006, I think, was his last.
He played 22 seasons. Anthony Merkovich with the Peninsula Knowledge. You know, Barry Bonds grew up in the city that I grew up in. That'd be San Carlos, California. I played Little League with his younger brother, Bobby Bonds Jr. True story.
Wow. Oh, man.
Anybody watching Severance season 2? Whew.
I only watched season 1. I haven't gotten to season.
We need a chat on this TV show. It is blowing my mind. I can't even figure out what's going on. I've jumped out like 6 times and I just get back into it because I'm like, I gotta figure this out. It's crazy though.
What was the series that had Christian Slater and the kid that played Freddie Mercury in the Queen movie? Mr. something. What was it?
Oh yeah, the computer thing. Mr. Robot, I think.
Yeah, Mr. Robot. Shows like that go so far off the rails that it just almost becomes unwatchable. Like Lost was horrible. It was horrible. I mean,
Eddie F, you need to be my email buddy. Send me an email, skatesonbase@gmail.com. We need to talk. I need some help here. I need to know what the hell was going on with the goats. I need to know why
stop.
they were.
Stop. I haven't gotten to season 2 yet. And I didn't say I don't like this. Like I dug the first season. I'm excited to see what season 2 is like.
Yeah, it's just got way more complicated to me, but maybe it'll work its way out. I'm only on episode 4 in season 2.
It's like Westworld. It's like the first 3 seasons were just brilliant, and then the 4th season was like, no, this just went in the wrong direction.
55, 58, no, 55, yes. I think Bonds is like 59. I think, but I'm not sure.
He's I'm turning 60. I think he's right around the same age as me.
Okay. It is on Apple. I don't know. No, it's on Apple TV actually. Yeah.
Apple TV. Apple Plus.
So well, I gotta wind down. We're gonna have dinner and get some TV going. And guys, the next time we are on, we will have Giants baseball.
Yep.
Day after tomorrow, first pitch, noon. Cheryl and I are going to Yosemite to see the Fire Falls this weekend. And then after that, I'll be super hyped to talk baseball. And a matter of fact, if you guys can get us to 200 subscribers, we need like 15 more subscribers. I will do an everyday show March 3rd through the 8th. And we will bring it to you daily. We just need, we need a little love. Throw in a few tokens or whatever we need. Tell your mom, hide your cat. Tell your dog, hide your mom, hide your dad. Like whatever it is. Like, let's get this going. I know we're in great shape. We took care of ourselves well. It was all the drinking, honestly. It was a lot of booze kept my face real smooth like this. No, I'm just teasing. But yeah, thank you guys for joining, and we'll be back probably early next week at some point. I'll have a Yosemite story, and we'll probably have a cut or two from some Giants highlights. Who will hit the first Giants home run in a spring training game?
You asking me? Are you asking the chat?
Everybody. If it goes the way I want it to, I'm saying Willy Adames.
Well, he did hit the first one of spring training. I'm saying
you can say Ramos.
I think Ramos.
All right. I'm gonna write this stuff down. Willy Adames, Christian, Ramos, and Eddie. Who you got? You think Wade, huh? Okay. Eddie says Wade. And we need one more. Anthony Matos. Okay. There we go. Anybody else? Anthony, come on. You got Adames or Matos? You got to take Matos. I already took Adames. We all need a different guy.
I like the Matos call.
I like Matos too. If Grant McRae hits the first homer, I will buy his jersey that day. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And with that, we out of here, right?
We out. Yep. We done.
Yaz won't do it. It's not going to. Come on, we want McRae or Matos to be our starting right fielder. No disrespect to Yaz, but his time has come, and it's time to let one of the kids play as much as possible, get their sea legs, and start producing. Come on, guys. Root for the home team.
That's right.
Let's go. Sour Vanilla, you came in too late, and now we got to give you the sour news. We out of here, baby.
We might have to show it next time.
Oh, wait. Show the sour vanilla clip of today.
All right.
Here we go. Just
It'll
for
take me
you,
a
Sour.
second. Take me a second.
Just for you. We got a clip for you.
It'll come up here in a second. If I can get it. No, suddenly wanted to give me grief. Okay. There we go.
Yes. Sour, you got to get in here earlier. We need your contributions. I love your enthusiasm. Shohei Ohtani John.
Oh,
Hold on.
slow loading because we're live streaming.
Technical difficulties up north.
No, it's not.
Sour, you got a pick for who's going to hit the first home run in spring training as a Giant? So far, we got Adames, Ramos, Wade, and Matos. Do you got someone different? Can throw you on our little winner gets a hoodie. How about that?
All right. Here it is.
Take Christian out to the ball game. Bobby Miller. It's a shame. This isn't loaded. Oh, here we go. And now the 2-2.
Boy, Bobby hit in the head. Oh, my goodness.
I think I've seen this one enough now.
In the foul territory, but a comebacker from Bush hit Bobby Miller.
And this is just frightening. It is
Oh.
so dangerous, and it's something that
All right.
the good thing
Sour
is that
Vanilla says Jung Hoo
one
Lee.
game.
Or wait, Kim.
Standing up, but he's walking off on
Also
his
on
own.
Kim was playing
Kim's
for the
not
Dodgers
on.
today.
Kim's not on the Giants.
He's on the Dodgers.
Well, Hi Sung Kim.
Yeah.
Sour
Hey,
V,
Sung.
come on, bro. Give me the first Giants home run of the year. Sour V. Let's change your name to Sour V.
Look at this.
Kim will be ready in June. Yeah, but he's not a Giant. That was a Verlander reference.
Oh,
Hmm.
all right. Well, we've become long in the tooth, I think.
All right, guys. Then I guess we're out. Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next time here on Skaters on Baseball. Please let your friends know that they need to subscribe, and tell them to always remember what Steve Screaming Lord Salva says.
Fuck the Dodgers.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Skaters on Baseball. If you liked what you heard, please spread the word, give us a good review, or hell, blow us up on your social media if you're down. Follow us at Skates on Base on Instagram for baseball news and other fun stuff. We love comments and listener participation, so bring it with an audio clip or an email. You can email us at skatersonbase@gmail.com. We're everywhere you get your podcasts, and we'll be here all season long.
Let's go, San Francisco. Let's go, Giants.
I'm excited to give everything that I have for these next 6 seasons and, see where it takes us.
Adios, Pelota!
See you soon. Thank you.
And I am forever a Giant.